It's not as easy as it looks, which is why the experts do it like this. Experts like Lottie Prentice, one of the UK's most ambitious young three-day eventers. But is a life of training for competition at the top putting Lottie, her ratting dog Rhino, her mother-cum mentor Caroline, and her horse Spider at risk from the microscopic world that life in the countryside exposes them to? We're here to find out. My name's Rufus Hound, and this is Grime Scene Investigation. Ow! Oh my God! Ow! Ow! That's electric! That one's electric! Ow! Ow! I can't feel my leg. I can't feel my leg. I know I have a leg. Each week on Grime Scene Investigation, we plough through the unseen world of bugs and bacteria, then nail up the microscopic marauders plaguing households across the country. Using cutting-edge technology, we're out to get the germs and microorganisms living with and on our suspects. Our mission? To identify the dirtiest offender, aka the criminal. The team's led by me, Rufus Hound. That guy is Anthony Hilton, one of the country's leading microbiologists. But what about bugs and beasties? Don't worry, we got that covered. Papa John's in the Hizoo-sa! And introducing Jess, Laura and Taria, sciencing things up like a triple-decker sandwich. This mobile lab is our home for the next 2 days, and it's packed full of the kind of kit normally only found in the world's top research laboratories. Gloucestershire, the Champagne County, or as we like to call it, the arse end of nowhere. It's going to be a tough few days for us city folk who are not from round these parts and find it all a bit unsettling. This place is crawling with all creatures great and small. Creatures that are dangerous, nasty, and quite frankly, stink. Something tells me we're going to be up to our necks in it, surrounded by parasites and stuff that can kill you. Our investigation starts with a box, where man and beast share their lives in not-so-perfect harmony. Yes, Lottie chooses to live in this, along with Rhino, Spider, and even Mummy comes along for the ride. Why? Because Lottie's life is relentless. She competes, runs the stables, teaches, and then collapses in her lorry with best friend Rhino. A life of constant riding has left her knackered, and Mum Caroline has big concerns for her daughter's well-being. She's told us that Lottie gets sick before competitions, but Lottie doesn't know her mum's grassed her up, and that they're all under a Grime Scene Investigation. Right, you must be Rhino, you must be Caroline, you must be Lottie, and this is clearly Spider. If you'd like to follow me, we've been looking at the place you're under investigation. This way, please.
Oh, no.
Quick as you can, ladies. I take Lottie and Mum by the reins, ready to crack the interrogation whip, whilst Anthony and his Antoinettes quarantine the grime scene. Which of these four will be the criminal? We have 2 days to muck in, then get the muck out of there. I mean, you must get pretty filthy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to have, obviously you have a separate kit for competition, separate kit for working.
And do you get involved in very much of that?
Cleaning?
Yeah.
Constantly.
Really?
Yeah. Or moaning.
Oh, yeah, well, I love hard work. I could watch it for hours.
Exactly. Time is really tight, because I do everything myself at the yard. And I've got a lot to look after and a lot to get through. You have to prioritise what you've got to get through.
Right.
Otherwise you'll be there till midnight.
But your priority isn't yourself?
No.
Whereas you, Caroline, I think probably more concerned that Lottie's okay.
Well, I worry. I'm a mother, you know, so obviously I want her to look after herself.
So how important a part does Rhino play here?
He's with me all the time. He's just like my soulmate. No, he's there. He sits next to me in the lorry. He's there all the time.
And I believe he performs a practical function as well.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. He's very good at ratting. Yeah, there seems to be so many of those around. Though he's quite useful.
Who do you think is going to be the dirtiest?
There's probably a close call between me and Ryan.
It's going to be a close call between the two.
Yeah.
And what do you think, Helen?
I mean, he doesn't wash his ears, does he? You know, he doesn't wash every day.
Well, I mean, if it was just a question of having massive ears and being filthy, I mean, you wouldn't be able to see Prince Charles with a swarm of flies.
I'm going to take some samples from you, if that's okay. Okay? The first place I like to sample is just around your eyes. Do you have any problems with your eyes? Sort of dust, flies and other things go in your eyes when you're riding along?
Yeah, I just get the odd fly.
Yeah.
But, you know, usually works its way out.
Have a good dig around and be alright.
Any self-respect left?
Anything can crawl in and out of those lug holes. Flies, spiders, earwigs.
Just inside your nose.
You're not going to get this one. It's very private.
Have a good old wriggle around.
There must be all sorts on these mitts. Remember, Lottie mucks out 6 times a day.
I think I probably will bring the most shocking results, and I apologise in advance for any dirty, horrible bugs that I might have on me.
I think the results would make me hope that Lottie would spend a little bit more care and attention on her own surroundings, so that one day she makes a good housewife and she knows how to run a home properly.
Come on, rat bag. Here you go.
You think you'll let me just near his mouth there? Clean your teeth. That's it.
Rhino rolls in poo. Not fussy about the variety. Horse, badger, fox. Literally a walking mop, soaking up all kinds of stuff and spreading it about.
Did you used to ride the horses with the same involvement as Lot?
No, I wasn't. No, I tend to do hunting.
How did that work then? What you were in the pack, or I mean, I've never really understood it.
Yeah, going out galloping and jumping lots of jumps.
I live in Birmingham. We don't do hunting there, so I don't know anything about it.
Lovely way to see the countryside.
Can I just take a sample around your nose? You don't need to shove it too far in, just around the bottom of your nose. That's brilliant.
There's a lot that gets up Mummy's nose, especially in the countryside, where the air smells right and there's airborne spores galore.
And Mum, well, I don't think there's anything on her at all. I think she's probably pretty immaculate.
Oh, I hope we're all really squeaky clean, but I doubt it somehow.
Well, that's the sampling done then.
No, it's not. We've got to do the horse yet. And the house.
But I've taken my gloves off now. Well, I've taken my gloves off now. Oh, yeah. Hi, Rufus. Yeah, hi, mate.
The outdoors. It's a big old place and a smorgasbord for cross-contamination. But there's no time for horsing around. There's acres of ground to uncover. Is Lottie sleeping with the enemy? Is that what's making her sick?
Hi, Anthony.
Hi.
So, what are we finding?
I think this is where she sleeps in this truck when she's on her event, but there's horse stuff in here as well as her own bed and chairs, and I'm just a little bit concerned about how intimate their life is with the horse. I mean, some typical sort of like mugs and cups and plates and things. I was having a quick look through these, and some of them probably haven't been cleaned too well.
Maybe they clean them before they use them.
Whose side are you on?
Well, I'm just saying.
I was quite interested by this actually. I think they have a lot of fun in here.
You do realise if you're actually a horse rider, that isn't kinky.
Really?
Put it back.
You just love to ruin my fantasies, don't you?
I do. Have you had a chance to look where the horses live?
It's just next door.
All right then. So this is the horse's house.
Yeah, it smells horses, doesn't it?
It really does. Well, you can really smell it in here.
Yeah, that's right.
Plenty of faeces splatter on the wall.
Yeah, hay bags. The thing is for me is that people that live in the countryside, they expose themselves to such hazards really, and theoretically they should probably all be dead, but the fact they're not is quite amazing really. What I'm worried about is that only 2 metres away you're in a sort of a mentally safe zone, aren't you? You think, I'm no longer in a horse box, I'm in essentially a caravan, and you might think, oh, I'll have something to eat, have something to drink, and that's when I think you're putting yourself at risk, and what I'll be interested in seeing how things track from here into there. So is there anything else you think I should know about?
Not really, although we haven't spoken much about Rhino.
You see, that's something I'm worried about actually, because he's in there and there's obviously horse poo and wee and everything else that horses are doing, and he's going through there, right next to the driver's seat, there's a dog basket. I wonder what he's bringing in with him.
Well, he's pretty close to the ground as well, isn't he? So he's picking everything up that's there.
Well, I'll send the girls in and see what we can find.
All right.
All right.
Have a bit more of a dig.
Okay. See you later. Okay, I'll go this way.
Big Girl's blouse Anthony is too scared to swap Spider, so he leaves the job to his trusty Antoinette.
Hi Lottie, we want to take some swab from the horse, please.
Yeah.
Could you take swab the eyes for me, please?
Because Lottie lives alongside her animals, it's the zoonotic diseases we're interested in.
The eyes?
Zoonotic whatchamaflip, I hear you cry. Well, zoonosis is the name given to nasties that can be transferred between animals and humans. We're talking the fungal infection ringworm, those itchy little mites scabies, life-threatening salmonella, and recent research even suggests the superbug MRSA can be transmitted between man and beast. And I've not even mentioned tetanus. These could be a reality for Lottie. No wonder Anthony bucked off and left it to the ladies. One hombre who feels no fear in the field is Papa J. He's out to take captive at least one of the hidden threats that could affect Lottie's health.
So what have we found? Oh, God. That's a dead rat, isn't it?
Yeah.
Don't pick this up, Anthony. I don't care if you're putting on the lilac gloves. Just leave it. Oh, mate, that's just so many levels of wrong. I can smell it from here.
Yeah, just smell
Please
it.
don't pick that up.
Well, John's interested in the maggots. I'm interested in what it's carrying up its bum.
Yeah.
Because rats
What
can
would
carry...
you be?
Well, rats can carry salmonella, you see. And if they're going into the yard, they may be a nice source of salmonella.
Right, well, I've got some things to do back in the...
You could just hold it for me, could you? I've got some gloves.
Looks like Rhino missed out on this beauty. In the UK, there's one rat to every person, but when you find yours, don't give it too close a cuddle, because they come with salmonella that could have you squitting through the eye of a proverbial needle. Nice. With these running amok, there's no way the country life can be that clean. These rats must be putting them all at risk. Could this be the cause of Lottie's sickness, or is the culprit closer to home?
I've got this great idea for an experiment. I'm a bit worried about the air quality in here, particularly when she's sweeping. So I've got this cool bit of kit, look at this. It's a particle counter.
This nifty science toy tests the size and amount of dust in the air.
But what I'm going to do is, I'm also interested in what bacterial and fungal things are going on, so I want you to wear this rather cool bit of kit for me.
Me?
Yeah, you'll be alright.
I wasn't trained to do that.
Yeah, well, just put it on, it doesn't take much.
I think we should ask Rufus to help assist with this
Yeah, well,
experiment.
he's rubbish at everything, just put it on.
I look stupid in this.
Yeah, never mind, just sweep. Go.
Dust might not sound particularly deadly, but you'd be surprised. Lottie sweeps up at least 6 times a day, exposing herself to large quantities of airborne nasties like aspergillus spores, which, in massive numbers, can lead to severe lung damage. All work and no play could be taking its toll on Lottie.
Just sweep. More sweeping. Just sweep. Brilliant, sweep. Sorry, huh?
It seems Mum is right to be concerned for her daughter, as the hazards that surround them are revealed one by one.
Plate full of horse snot. That's a waste of time. We know it's not going to be the horse. That thing is seriously well looked after.
Yeah, but these things can still spread around quite easily.
Yeah, but horses are big. The bugs are big. Look at them. You'd see one of those if it landed on you.
Yeah, but these aren't bacterial cells. These are individual bacteria. These are colonies. There's millions of bacteria in here.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, there is. We've got a pin, isn't it? Look at that. Look, if I take this, if I just touch this colony on here, okay? Go and take this to Papa J, I'll show you something.
Is it time to electron microscopise? Oh, marvellous.
John? I've stuck this pin in a bacterial colony for Rufus. Can you visualise them for me?
Yeah, we can do that.
You got the results of the hairpin test?
Yes, we
Show
got.
Rufus the video.
All right, so you can see the hole at the top of the pin. It's about 15,000 times. You see these individual bacterium about a micron.
So each one of those little roddy, roundy things is a bacteria. Wow.
And each one of those cells could go on to spread, grow and cause disease, so there's everything to play for.
So the mum's still in the frame, the horse is still in the frame.
Everybody's in the frame.
I'll call Jeremy Beadle. So, end of day one.
Yep.
Beautiful countryside.
It is
beautiful people.
Yeah.
But a beautiful mess.
Well, It's always a mess on the first day, isn't it, really? So much information, it needs condensing down.
So plates to be incubated, swabs to be worked up?
Yeah, that's right. We've sampled the people, the places, the animals and the things. So now we just leave the girls to do the work.
Right then, better get back to it.
Day turns to night in a flash out here in the sticks. But our night owls don't give a hoot when it comes to processing the evidence gathered.
I'm not worried about what would be found on me. I'm expecting some gremlins in my armpits or wherever else you've taken swabs from.
Personally, I feel a bit of bacteria in your life is a good thing.
I think she'd probably prefer if I stripped down completely naked and was power hosed, sterilised, and then allowed to come home. I think that would be the ideal situation.
Rhino is oblivious to the fact that he's under suspicion for being a rat-munching salmonella carrier. But we want proof that his rat-catching ways are potentially exposing Lottie to this deadly bacteria. Day 2, and we're still trying to find out what's making country girl Lottie sick. These are our concerns. She's polluting her lungs with harmful microorganisms 6 times a day. The rat we found tested positive for salmonella. And all over the yard are a variety of beasts and bugs that we know Lottie's in contact with. They could all be the link between her and the crapper. But who or what is the source? Video evidence could help.
And there he is, little Rhino, from down on the ground to up on the sofa.
Yeah.
The same little Rhino that's been going round the menage, through the yard, through the badger, the horse, the fox poo.
Yeah.
And now he's snuggling right up and giving her a face full of germs. What's Caroline doing there?
She's rubbing the dog's face with the sponge that she's then using to wipe the cups.
Bingo, bango, bongo! There's my evidence. Rhino's far too up close and personal for my liking. And what else is the little rat catcher bringing home to Lottie on his dirty nights out?
Lottie, you need to do me a favour. Right now, take off all your clothes.
Right now.
Right now.
In the name of science.
And lovely to see you too, little chap, because we're going to need you as well. What exactly is it that you're walking through? Do you know? We're going to find out. As quick as you can, if at all possible.
We need to find out just how gruesome this twosome really are, and this is our only option.
Well, that's what we managed to get off Rhino. Let's see if you're any better. Brace yourself.
Choice. Oh! I wish I could swear right
Careful, you
now.
almost got something out of my suit.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, jump up and down, please.
You're kidding me.
No, we're really not.
You wait.
That'll do.
Okay, back down. Out you get. Come on then.
Leave this. I am frozen. Absolutely frozen.
Hopefully this will confirm that Rhino is the spreader of bad news. But hang on, Anthony with a gallop on? Must be something important.
I was told you've got something to show me.
Yeah, well, it seems like we've got something that will make the mother a little bit unhappy.
Really? What's that?
We've taken samples from her nose, the dog's nose, and the horse's nose.
Right.
And they've actually come out on these MSA plates as being yellow colonies.
So this is Staph aureus then, you think?
It could possibly be Staph aureus, but we've got to do a few more checks first.
Right. And so what do? Gram stain them next?
We'll gram stain them, and then we may put them onto mannitol salt plates with oxycillin.
Oh, to see if they're MRSA, the very important hospital bug, yeah?
Exactly.
Ah,
And I
nice
think
one.
that might kick up a bit of a stir.
Well, absolutely.
There's nothing super about this bug. In fact, it could get right up your nose, especially if your immune system's low. If it gets into the body, it can infect vital organs and is a killer. This could put Mum right back in the frame. Unlucky!
I've heard of animals possibly being reservoirs of MRSA, and obviously if the horse and the human and the dog are interacting and sharing these strains, that could be really quite worrying, couldn't it?
Well, what's more worrying is it's more from humans, and humans pass it on to the dogs and animals, so it could have actually come from the mother.
Really?
Yeah.
We came here with Caroline concerned about Lottie getting the trots, but could the greatest threat actually be from Mum spreading a superbug to the rest of the suspects? The plot thickens. Papa J is also in the thick of it. He's been getting down and dirty. Time to check in with the big fella.
And what are we looking at here?
This is one of a collection of species of flies that live on dung heaps.
Flies are carriers of deadly things, and if they land on your sandwich, they could make you do a bum sick.
So those are the bugs that live on the bug?
Yeah.
Nice.
Good, isn't it?
They look like crabs.
Well, they do. They might well be.
He's been up the fly brothel and caught a dose.
Yes.
Nice one. I'll leave you to it, John. Thank you.
See you.
Now for the bit where we gather up all the evidence and show off some fat science.
Tell me, you're using the low iron glass?
Yeah, well, the one that has the circumgravity to Earth, the junction biphase gate suppressor.
Yeah, I mean, that's, if anything, going to show us everything for the microscopic condition.
Well, you know, if you get a bit of transverse thrust in the epicyclic torque converter unit, it can ruin it.
Yeah, I mean, let alone what the flux capacitor will do. We'll be here till next Thursday, which will technically be yesterday.
I know, but I don't think we've got 2.2 gigawatts in there.
I wouldn't have thought so, not at 88 miles an hour.
Nah, never.
Well, you carry on the good work.
Cheers.
We came here knowing that we had a lot of ground to cover. The countryside is bursting with bugs and bacteria waiting to attack. Having sampled and swabbed everything we could get our hands on, it's been our quest to find out what makes Lottie sick and who is the criminal.
We've looked at the yard, we've looked at your house, we've looked at you, all in quite close detail, all of which gives us an idea of what the investigation has really meant, hasn't it?
Your environment is quite unique in the fact that a lot of the areas are contaminated with environmental microorganisms, but these all represent what we would refer to as opportunistic pathogens, and these are organisms that would make you ill if you left them unchecked. We did have a look at the potential effects of creating aerosols of dust in particular in the stables. So we swept a bit of straw away, and the particulates went up to 17 times increase. You're actually exposed to a level which is far in excess of what EU guidelines consider as healthy for breathing that in, because not only are you making yourself susceptible to these particulates which can cause lung problems, but also the spores can also get, you know, aerosolized and breathed in as well, and given that they're in quite high numbers given the straw and the hay that you have, that's obviously quite an important consideration. And a quite simple way, I mean, you could at one extreme wear a mask, a particle mask that would obviously trap that, but that may not be ideal. I mean, another easier way to do it would maybe just to dampen the area down before you sweep it so there's not as much dust is created.
Next up, the results of the swabs. What did these four have on them?
This is the bit I'm not looking forward to.
Very much could be the bit you're not looking forward to.
Oh no!
What do we find on Lottie?
I know that you've got a cut on your finger. I'm always interested when we breach the skin, what opportunities that gives for microorganisms to get in there.
Yeah.
And I found an organism called Enterococcus faecium. It is carried in the guts of animals, and therefore you're leaving yourself susceptible to potential infections, because even though the cut was quite small, you know, the risk was there. The fact that it was on your finger could get quite a nasty infection there.
Tell us about Rhino.
Around his muzzle, there was some evidence of salmonella growing around his mouth.
Tiny!
And what I suspect might be happening is that when he's off catching the rats, that he's picking that up round his muzzle, but he's not being ill as a result of that. So I don't think you need to worry about his health. But what I am worried about is how that may ultimately impact on your health. Because obviously if he has salmonella around his mouth, and you're stroking him around his mouth, then your hands may become contaminated with salmonella. You wouldn't sort of stroke a rat and then eat some food, but yet you'd stroke your dog.
I suppose I knew that, you know, going ratting, he's going to pick up stuff, but I'm really aware of that now, because as you're right, I wouldn't go, if I saw a rat in the yard, I wouldn't pick it up and cuddle it.
Caroline, we did a nose swab and we're pretty sure we found what is currently being touted as the superbug MRSA, which you can certainly carry without being symptomatic. You looked at it, you were pretty sure it was. We did some further tests, and you don't have it. I thought you did. You really don't. But yeah, it was a little bit, wasn't it? Just for a moment there.
Oh, God.
So obviously, the biggest part of this investigation is then to be able to point a finger at who is the criminal. And over the course of this investigation, we obviously looked at Spider, and fairly obviously, he isn't the criminal. A testimony to you and the amount of work that you do with him. At one stage, Caroline, we'd had a look at your nose and thought we found MRSA, but we didn't find it. You're incredibly clean. You, obviously, are not the criminal. But Lottie, you own the dog that is the criminal. Right, it's you.
Oh, you've upset him now.
I hope you're going to wash your hands when you've done that.
Yeah.
So, Lottie's four-legged friend is not so friendly. His contact with potentially lethal organisms, like the salmonella he's happy to share with Lottie, is the most likely cause of her bad belly. That dirty dog.
The wider point is purely to follow your dream, to be the athlete you want to be, to compete at the level you want to compete. You're having to do a huge amount of work, and that then became a bit of a concern. Because obviously, if you're not eating properly, and if you're not getting enough sleep, and you are surrounded by some of these things, you can have the best horse in the world, and you can have taken the best care of it, but if you're not taking care of yourself, that combination of the great horse and the great rider could knock you out of competitions for good.
Okay, point taken.
Our work here is done, and we can only hope that Lottie will take on board our words of wisdom.
I think, on the whole, she will look after herself, hopefully as well as she looks after her horses.
I feel obviously much more aware of everything that's around me and what my little rat bag of a dog's carrying.
I suppose it's the other thing, cleanliness is godliness, or more or less.
I'll be honest with you, I don't like the countryside. It smells and things hide in the trees. The fact that this place was covered in more tiny microorganisms than you could shake a miniature stick at came as a surprise to no one. And Rhino, as the foot-tall furball, was covered in rural crap and was undoubtedly the criminal. But that's because he's Lottie's dog, and with the physical affection she shows him and her equine friends, well, unless she starts taking care of herself, all that hard work, training and commitment will amount to nothing but a pile of... Right, you get me a latte, you get my agent on the phone, and somebody for Christ's sakes call me a cab. You f***ing people are driving me f***ing mental.